welcome to Subscriber Sunday on Sassy Gal Prepping. All right, we are, all right, I think everybody's on here. We're just checking out some things here while we're waiting to get started. And I want to say hi to a few people in the house. I want to thank Nate for being here. He was first one here.
Always.
And yeah, I know, right? And Belle, Van City Prepper, thank you for being here and modding tonight. Who else do we have? LG, welcome. Thanks for being here. Let's see. I know I saw some more other. Rita's here. Who else? Martin is here. Welcome. Glad to see you. And let's see. We have Gail and Martin, Midlife Misadventures. Thank y'all for being here. And welcome to our guest. Just in time. Can you hear us? Oh, got you. I hear a little bit of an echo. Is that me? Should better be me. All right. There we are.
If you put it on the smaller window, it might make it wider where they can both fit in.
Do what?
If you put it on one of the smaller, like the smaller windows, it'll fit.
No, not that one.
No, I'm saying if all of us are, it fits them in better. There you
go.
go.
We go. There we go. Sorry. There we go. We can see everybody now. Yay. I just wanted y'all to be closer.
I was feeling claustrophobic.
Well, all right. So we're going to get started. Just a few housekeeping rules. I know a lot of people might have some questions, so keep them in mind. We'll have an open Q&A time. But right now, I want to introduce my special guest tonight, Apartment Prepper and Family Man Prepper. And I want to thank you for being here. And I would like to take just a minute to have each of you introduce yourselves and your special needs person that you're caring for at home. Maybe give us a little bit of background so we can let everybody in the audience know who we're caring for and something about them. So, Apartment Prepper, why don't you start?
I wasn't trying to laugh. It's just right when you said your special needs person you're caring for, my brother belched from his bedroom, and it was a loud one. So I thought maybe y'all could hear it. So he was letting me know he was there. And that is my brother, Kevin, is my special needs person I'm caring for. He is 52. And I'm just a little older. I always forget how old I am. I'm actually, I guess I realized yesterday or last week I was 54. I thought I was 53, so I lost a year. But hey, it happened. But he's the one I'm caring for. Quick story, he was born with a hole in his heart. And they tried to give him oxygen. Well, they did surgery to repair it. And they screwed up on the oxygen, and it caused brain damage. And basically, he couldn't speak till he was 5. And throughout childhood, they just called him Down syndrome because he looked exactly like a Down syndrome child, even though he didn't have that extra chromosome. And he was treated as a Down syndrome child. And then in the 90s, they switched and started calling him autistic instead of Down syndrome. And so that's why sometimes I'll say he's autistic. Sometimes I just refer to him as special needs. And then he has a world of health issues, not even related to that I may or may not go into tonight. So anyway, that's my brother, and I love him dearly. So, Family Man.
Yeah, thank you.
I'm Travis.
And I'm Michelle.
And our son's name is Alex. He's 13 years old. He's diagnosed with autism and Tourette's. He's incontinent. He's still in diapers at 13. And he's never spoke one word. He makes a lot of noises, chirps and grunts, but there's not been one word the entire 13 years. And that probably has to be one of the hardest obstacles that we face as a parent, because when you're parenting, communication is pretty important. So that's our biggest struggle, I think, with Alex. But he's a good boy. We love him. Michelle? This is hard. This isn't.
Can you
something
guys
that we
turn up your
have
volume at
ever-
all? As people are saying they can't hear you.
They can't hear you. They can't hear your volume.
I is.
Well, I mean, they
well,
can
we
hear, but you're
come
low.
closer. Is the volume better now?
Yeah.
Okay. Yep. People are saying.
Okay, we'll move in. You guys
Edna
can hear me now,
mode.
but you got to get ready for the big face. It's going to be there. Okay, so I'm not going to repeat all that, but yeah, this is going to be different for Michelle and I. All I was saying is that we haven't ever really discussed anything like this publicly, so I'm going to kick it back over to Sassy Gal.
We appreciate you so much. I know this is it's personal. My daughter is 22, and she has sensory processing disorder. Years ago, that used to be on the spectrum, but now they made it its own separate thing. And so we didn't discover that until she was like in 4th grade. I thought she just had a attitude problem, but as we went and talked with some counselors, we were finding out that she actually has a lot of sensory issues. And so I took about a year off of homeschooling just to learn about that and learn how I could kind of speak her language so I could be able to teach her and talk with her and help her cope. So we have Alex is 13, I have Elizabeth is 22, and Kevin is 52.
And I wanted to say real quick, one other thing. He wasn't supposed to live past teenage years. They told us he would never live past being 18. They said to plan for it. And he's now 52. So I'm not going to cry, but every moment with him was a blessing.
Aw, amen.
So, okay, I wasn't going to do that. Anyway.
Okay, let me check with the chat. It looks like, is the sound still okay? Are we 5x5? I saw someone said it keeps cutting out for them, but I'm not hearing it. So you all have to help me out a little bit. Okay, it looks okay. Good. There's an echo. Shoot.
Someone has another YouTube on or something.
Give me just a minute. Let me see if it's.
Okay. Sorry, y'all.
Well,
Can't
don't
stop
start
crying now
doing
that I
that,
started.
then I'm going to start.
I didn't mean to. We haven't even started.
I know.
Is it still there?
Well, thank you. I just want to say that I've always thought that you were a tremendous sister, and it's a very rare thing that you would, as a family member, step up and do what you're doing. Your brother's very fortunate, and we love you for it. And if he doesn't tell you thank you,
he does in his own way.
Yeah, in their own way.
In his
Alex
own
is
way.
the same way.
Aw.
Which means he shares videos with me or shows me his favorite video game.
Thank you, Martin Midlife Misadventures. You all are amazing humans. Thank you for sharing your lives. Okay, so one of the questions I wanted to ask you both, and all of us really, is how are you what are the biggest concerns, challenges that you're facing right now as a special needs parent or a special needs caregiver? Anybody want to go first?
Really, man, why do you go first?
Alphabetically.
Oh, I'm always first that way. It's not. I'm changing my name. Prepper apartment. Okay. The challenges for me, a lot of y'all know, and I mention this all the time, but it's just, we just came off being homeless for 6 months, and we've only been in this apartment a little while. So we've kind of had to start life over, and having to build up the resources again for help, having to just all that stuff that usually people have already established for their loved one. I'm having, because it's a new town, new state, new everything, and so I'm having to build that again for him, and it's difficult, and it's not so easy to in some cases when you don't have the insurance or the money or things like that. So just trying to get a footing to get him all the help he actually needs. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Are we cutting out here?
No. Are you good?
We can see and hear you.
Okay.
There you go.
Okay, family man, are you still there? You still hear it?
Yeah, we're still here.
Okay.
Michelle, you want to take the question?
Go ahead,
Well, we
Michelle.
have most of our challenges are behavior. So we try to mitigate his behavior at the moment, and most of our concerns are really just he can be a harm to himself and others. So mitigating that is really where we're at right now. I think it froze.
Hello. I think it froze for us.
Yeah, I
Nope,
don't know.
well, you're
I don't
good.
know what happened here.
We can hear you. At least I can.
Okay. Um,
Hi.
It like froze. There you go.
for us, I was talking about this in a chat earlier that the biggest concern, I guess, is being able to help Elizabeth be able to cope with whatever emergency that might arise. Let's say it's a fire in the house, and that takes immediate action. There might be firefighters, there might be sirens, flashing lights, and stuff like that. And that kind of stuff will cause her to shut down. And I'm afraid that she'll freeze up. So, getting her able to cope with just getting through it, getting to safety, getting her to work through that would be, you can't really test that. You could run drills and stuff, but you can't really test it till you're in it. So that's one of my biggest concerns is being in a challenge or an emergency situation like that. So, so we have these challenges. How are we dealing or how are we prepping for these challenges that we're concerned about?
Hmm.
Taking any steps to prepare ahead of time or prepare them?
One day at a time. One day at a time. Especially, most people who know me, have said I am on disability myself and food stamps and all that, so my income is very limited. So my prepping is very limited, but at least I do it. With him, there's certain things I do try to take care of, and for me, his needs come before mine. I mean, that's just number one, and that's just how I feel. Um, but one of the hardest things I've had prepping, honestly, is the cost of the adult pull-ups. Those things are so expensive, and he has talked about his medical issues. He has IBS. He has oh my gosh, just all kinds of stuff. A he had a growth removed from his bowel about 10 years ago, and they took out a third of his intestines. So he cannot go to the bathroom like a normal person. Once he goes, and this is TMI, sorry y'all, when he goes, he goes.
Real
There's no
stuff
stopping
here.
it. So imagine us being homeless and dealing with this too. That was fun. But the adult pull-ups are wonderful, but they're so pricey, and from my understanding, they're getting harder to find in some places. So that may seem like a weird concern to some. For
Mm-mm.
me, that's one of my main concerns, as well as his medications, like his diabetes medication and his high blood pressure medication and that type of stuff. That because we have to go to a free clinic, he only gets it 1 month at a time. They will not do the 2, 3, 4 months ahead. It's 1 month and that's it. So those are two of my big concerns for prepping wise.
So how are you preparing for that? Are you just trying to stock up as much as you can? You're
I,
just
I'm, I'm trying to find sales on
okay.
the adult pull-ups, but that's kind of
Mm-hmm.
hard to find.
Mm-hmm.
Medicine, every time we go in, I ask, can I not please just get some more just in case something happens, So
Okay.
I just keep pushing it, thinking one day
Yeah.
they're going to be like, okay, fine, here, take it. So,
Or just
and
wear them down.
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. Like what was it? The widow woman in the Bible who kept going to the judge and wearing him down. That's kind of what I'm trying to be. And and then the one other thing I didn't mention was food. That's another one that is really hard because he's so picky about what he eats. He eats only certain things, and with the way food is right now, some of that stuff is just gone. And trying to find stuff to replace it that he'll actually eat has been a pain in the you know what. So that's another thing I'm trying to do.
Good. How about you guys, family man Travis and Michelle?
Well, state of Colorado, there are several resources, and we do have diapers coming in. So,
She was saying, I'm sorry, our microphone I guess is not that good.
Oh, there you go.
What she
That
was
sounds really
saying
good.
was that Alex was born in New
Uh-oh.
Mexico, and there weren't a lot of resources for him in New Mexico. So we moved to Colorado specifically for the resources. The
That's good.
diapers, the wipes, the gloves, all
Wow.
those things are provided by the state and
Nice.
mailed directly to our house.
That's
And
wonderful.
it's not just a little blessing. That in itself is a
Yeah.
huge
Yeah.
blessing.
Yeah.
I'm
Wow.
not sure exactly what the retail value of it is, but I'm thinking it's probably $600 to $800 a month
I'm
in
sure.
diapers and wipes and underpads and along with that, the state also provides him a lot of resources like respite care
Nice.
and the programs like the family support centers. All of those things are free to him here. So we that's one of the reasons why we packed up everything and we moved here. And it was a huge jump for us. We were scared through the teeth, but it's worked out really well. And we had to put him first.
Yeah.
Mm.
And moving to Colorado was for us. That's what that meant was putting them first and coming out here. And we haven't regretted it. Like I said, you brought up the diaper thing. We felt that struggle. We were barely paying rent, and then you had to spend $600 a month for diapers because he wears a size large, and they're really hard to get.
Yeah. Once all my bills are paid, I have $100 left for the month. So,
Wow.
So
Well,
one
we
of the
have.
ways that we prep for that is that we do stock up on diapers as much as we can.
Mm.
Of course, it's not easy. Let's see. The food we definitely stock up on oodles and noodles. If you see our Amazon grocery hauls, we stock up on a lot of Alex's food. We try to get ahead of that. One
mhm.
of the ways that we're trying to get ahead of that too is by potty training him. Just
Yeah.
trying to actually get him out of diapers, and that's been an uphill fight. When we go to the swimming pool, we have the most success of not wearing a diaper.
Oh,
But
wow.
other than that, it's been really hard to potty train, and but that's our long term goal is hopefully we won't need diapers at all.
Yeah.
But that may actually be wishful thinking in itself. So time will tell.
Wow. We my my stuff seems so minor compared to yours.
No. No.
um really with Elizabeth it's dietary. You guys are talking about food. So yeah, we're really trying to stock up on um the food that helps her. If her tummy is good, if her digestive issues are good, she's good. So we switched her over to gluten free. We've been doing stuff since I first found out about her sensory processing. I went through and got rid of everything that had high fructose corn syrup in it and food dyes
Uh-oh.
and anything like that. And so anyway, we that was one of the biggest things, and we started changing up as a family. But then now she's discovering that she likes all of the, I call them bougie foods because she likes oat milk. But if it's helping her, if she doesn't have digestive issues and her behavior and her stress is calm, then I'll get it. We'll just
Yeah.
have to stock up and she'll get her own pantry. Really. So, anything else you guys want to add to this?
I want to
Before
say that there's no special need that's less important than any other special need. You
That's true.
know?
Oh, that reminds me. I wanted to say something before we got into questions. Is that I found a special needs definition, and that special needs means anyone that requires special assistance to function, physical or mental, and can include people with communication challenges, mobility challenges, emotional challenges, and then there's even those that have terminal issues. And so this is like if these people are in your house or your family or your family group, then your prepping situation becomes everyone's. That situation becomes everyone's situation.
Mhm.
You can't just like stick them over there and expect them to, you know, to just deal with it or cope. I mean, it's just like it's everyone's issue, and not all special needs are visible. per
Hmm.
se, so like my daughter is one of them. She's, people think that she's this normal kid until you turn on a strobe light and she immediately shuts down. So
Yeah.
and people used to think when we were starting to share and tell them about SPD, people are like, oh, she has PTSD. What happened to her? I'm like, no, that's not it. So it's a lot of education. I think you
Yeah.
guys find that you have to, as you're sharing things with people that work with your special needs person, as you do more educating.
Yeah, I know for me, when we stayed at the homeless shelter for a couple weeks in December, the staff had to go through kind of a special training to deal with my brother,
Yeah.
um, because they don't, I guess, normally have that many special needs people in the shelter. And they had to kind of know, because they have certain rules at the homeless shelter, but they had to bend some of those rules for him to make it work for him. So it was an interesting couple of weeks. They did the best they could, and I appreciate that.
How about you, Michelle? Do you guys have does Travis, not Travis, does Alex go? We all need Travis needs some special help too. But do you guys find that if anyone's working with Alex, you have to kind of almost retell your story or re-educate them, if that makes sense?
Um, what was the question again?
Oh,
Well, he's here.
I'm sorry,
just
Alex was in the other room. He was having a moment.
that's okay.
He's currently misbehaving. So
Oh,
sorry.
well, we were just talking
I'm
about
back. What was the question? I'm sorry.
well, sometimes when you're working with if there's someone else that's working with like Alex or Kevin or Elizabeth, if they're working with them, I feel like I'm on repeat all the time. I feel like I have to re-educate, that everybody, because they don't understand what, autism is, or they don't understand what Tourette's is or SPD. Do you guys find that you have to deal with that too?
Absolutely, absolutely. I'm not an expert in autism or Tourette's, but what I tell people is I am an expert in Alex. I
Yes.
am an
That's
expert
good.
in my son. And if you're taking care of someone that has special needs, have confidence in your voice. You are that person's greatest advocate. And there's a lot of people that have degrees and they're very educated and they're very smart in the diagnosis.
Mhm.
But we're the experts in the human.
That's good.
So no one knows Alex more than I do. So when
Right.
therapists and doctors and everything they tell me things, I take it as advice. Because at
Yes.
the end of the day, it's Michelle and I's decision because we act out of love. And if you're the caregiver, that's what you're doing. You're acting out of love.
Hmm.
So, yeah, I get those people too. And I smile and I'm nice, but I'm the expert in Alex and I always listen to what they have to say, but I don't always apply it because it doesn't
That's
always fit. I've noticed a lot of the therapists seem to like to come with a one size fit all approach.
And that does not
And
work.
it's a very large spectrum.
And
very
we've
Yeah.
tried everything: ABA therapy, speech therapy, occupational therapy, water therapy, equestrian. We've
Okay,
tried.
yes. Very long list.
So all the different therapies, and sometimes it's just really people who are babysitters. They don't really understand what they're.
Oh yes, you get the ones that are, they're about 16 or 17 or 18 years old. And I almost feel sorry for them. They're like, "Oh, just leave him here. He'll be fine." It's not him I'm really worried about.
Yeah, they
You're not ready for this. Michelle and I are seasoned. We're hardened over the decade, He's traumatized us tremendously throughout the years. We go to the emergency room currently maybe once every 6 months.
Hmm.
But when he was younger, it was a lot more often.
oh
It was
wow.
a lot more often and that's when we had to actually come out of the state of delusion and realize that he is not only a danger to people around him, but himself. And he needs a 24-hour surveillance, if you
Oh
will.
wow.
And that's why I would consider Michelle and I experts in Alex, but not
Right.
experts in autism.
That's excellent because that's
Yeah.
so true. Even just in general, you are the expert of your children or, an apartment prepper, your brother, you guys are the experts, and that just goes across the board for everything. Regardless of special needs or not, your kids, and I wish that more doctors would listen to the parents instead of trying to tell us what they think we should know or what we should do. Just like you said, Travis, it's, thank you so much. You smile. Down in the South, we say, bless your heart. Um,
Well, I was born and raised in Virginia.
that's where I live right now.
I know.
We're just in the South, just
I was
enough
born in
to
Newport
count.
News, Virginia,
All
right near the
right.
beach.
That's where my husband and I got married. Anyway,
Oh,
all right.
Virginia's for
Small world.
lovers.
Right. La. Okay. So we're kind of in a serious mode, and I had a question that I wanted to ask you all, and it's kind of serious. And we can start with apartment prepper.
Alphabetical.
Alphabetical.
Okay. So how are you guys preparing for, or have you prepared for their future, or like when they grow up to be on their own, maybe, or basically for like when you're gone? So I didn't want to call it like, I don't know. I didn't want to say end times prepping because that didn't sound right. But what are we doing? How are you preparing for the future or a situation when you might not be there?
I think about that all the time, especially because of our ages. Um, I didn't think about it so much 10 years ago, but now I really do. And I'm not as, I don't have everything prepared like I'd like to have. Sassy and I were talking before the live stream about, there's people can have, what was it you talked about, like savings accounts or accounts for the loved one and stuff like that. I don't have anything like that because of our situation. The only thing, if something was to happen to me, the only thing I have right now is he has a little wallet that he carries with him all the time, and it has in it a little laminated card that has 3 family members and my one of my really really good friends in Texas has their phone numbers. And
That's good.
my older brother, who I don't really talk to, has said, and I hope it's still the same. If anything happened to me, he would take Kevin in. And even my good friend in Texas had told me the same. So, but he'll never live on his own. He's just not, he can do some things, but it all scares him, and he's not able to do, he can do some things, but there's other things he can't. So, he'll always has to live with somebody.
Mm.
As long as I'm around, he'll always live with me, and that's fine. Uh, but yeah, that's something I'm not ready for yet, and I've got to work on it because anything could happen.
Yeah, the urgency is there, definitely.
Mhm.
How about you guys, Travis and Michelle? Have you thought about this?
That we have given a lot of thought to. I think we've had many sleepless nights
Yeah.
for many years. Um, you don't know what to expect for the future when it comes to Alex.
Yeah.
We don't have any family outside of Michelle and I and Belle. And it's not, and God bless Apartment Prepper, but it's not Belle's responsibility
Whew.
when we pass away to take on the burden of Alex. And we've spent many nights talking about how can we, stop that from happening. And Belle's overheard us discuss it, and she's all, hey, that's okay. I love my brother. I'm going to be there his whole life. And that's sweet, but we want to kind of, what can we do if that is a situation to lift the burden from her? So there are a couple steps that we're trying to take that are long term.
Ooh.
But guys, this is who knows really how this is going to work out. But every state does have what's called a DD waiver.
Oh.
And it does take sometimes about 10 years or maybe longer to get a individual approved for the DD waiver. But at that point, they'll get unlimited. It's like gates open. It's like, and they get resources and they get taken care of. People are checking in on them. And so what we're doing is we're trying to get Alex approved for the DD waiver. and you have to be living in the state for X amount of time before you're even eligible. So being that we've only lived in Colorado for 5 years, we're just now reaching the point where we can start applying for it, and even then it's going to be 10 years out before maybe he gets approved. So maybe by the time he's 25, he might get approved for the DD waiver. And if he does, then that would be a big load off of our minds, because it would mean long-term care from the state. If you have someone that's special needs and you're not having the Social Security and the disability registered, I have friends that take care of special needs people, and they tell me, "Oh, I don't get Social Security for them," and I kind of feel like, well, it's not really for you. You need to get them going with it so that they're in that system, because Michelle and I have talked about it. The only thing that's going to take care of Alex after we're dead is America. And I'm sorry to be that blunt, but we're going to shoulder, taking care of Alex's medical needs, for as long as we can handle it. But at some point, I don't think there's no options really in the state.
Right. The other option is to do a trust.
Oh yeah, sorry, I was rambling. I'm sorry.
No,
Here
it's
we go.
fine. I was going to ask about that. Okay, tell us about that, Michelle.
So another way you can secure the future is to do a trust in which you put the name of
Trustee.
of the trustee. The assets go to 50% for each child, and then whoever is if we pass away, the trustee takes on Alex's assets.
So that way, if Belle does end up taking care of Alex 50 years from now, she'll get the inheritance. But if she doesn't take care of Alex 50 years from now, it's not to punish her. She won't get as much of an inheritance, because we're setting up the trust to favor who's going to have to shoulder the burden of taking care of Alex long term. But this, I would love to hear in comments, or if you guys have any opinions, because like I said, we're not experts and we're looking for an answer ourselves. We've looked in the Philippines, and they have entire communities that are built for autism, where if you have autism in the Philippines and you're an adult, you can go live there, and there's a community that takes care of you. And we don't have anything like this in America. And it just blows my mind that you got third world countries doing a better job handling special needs than America. I know we used to have a lot of psychiatric units back in the 60s and the 70s before they stopped doing it. And I wasn't around for that decision, but I'm kind of thinking like maybe that wasn't the right decision. Because these people have nowhere to go.
Well, I think there was abuse or something.
I think there was a lot of abuse. I'm sure they had good reason. I wasn't even alive. I should shut up.
Yeah, we don't really know.
But it does put us in a pickle, because we've cried ourselves to sleep wondering one day, when our energy runs out, what next?
Right. We have
I think we froze.
Is it? Go ahead.
I can hear it.
Oh no, we have so you're talking about like a community, like they have communities for seniors and elderly where you go and you're around other people that are, your age and kind of like in the same boat that you are, and you kind of take care of yourself, but you're still in a safer community. That would be, we don't have anything like that here in America for people that might be special needs but kind of be able to live alone, but then there's other ones that would not even be able to take care of themselves, to be able to be taken care of, but not in a hospital. There was a question that scrolled up a little bit ago, and I forgot who asked it. I think it was Little House in the Big Woods, but how do you handle time management? That, now I don't know if there was in context to what we were talking about, but time management, does that even exist? I guess balancing the care versus with everything else that you're doing in life. I guess maybe how do you handle that, apartment prepper?
I don't.
Constant battle, I guess.
I don't. I am lucky to the point where my brother is high functioning, so he can do things on his own. So it's not as bad as like Travis and Michelle 24/7 having to take care of Alex. I mean, there are times when it is 24/7, but it's not all. But that's usually only 2 or 3 days in a row when he has a bad episode or something. So it's not it's not as much an issue for me, if that makes sense.
Hmm.
Well, time management for us. Um, Alex is pretty demanding of our time, and since he was about 5 years old, we haven't been able to work what would be a normal 9 to 5 job.
Mm.
Okay.
We've had to pretty much center our entire existence around Alex every single
Hmm.
day. There's two ways that we view Alex, and it's really helped us. The first way that we view Alex is as our son and as a beautiful human boy that we love very much.
Yes.
And the second way that we view Alex is as a patient that has very serious medical needs and conditions. And more often than not, unfortunately, he is Alex the patient more than Alex our
Mhm.
son.
Yeah.
And that puts our time management pretty much focused in that area. We spend a lot of time making sure that he's basically just physically alive some days. He
Mm.
has tendency to bang his head on walls and hit his head on objects that can cause serious damage. So there's a lot of mitigation that goes on in the day to day life. Uh, Michelle?
It's daunting to have so many things going on all at one time, but we somehow manage it all.
We're together and we
Yeah.
meet
That's
50
awesome.
50 at it, and without each other we would
True.
fall apart.
We do divvy up chores, I do the cleaning, he does the cooking.
Yeah,
That's good.
everything's divvied up
You
right
know,
down the middle.
I do the
Everything.
nursing, he
We
does
try to support
the
and
meds.
help, and kudos to anyone that's doing this alone. Even if they're not special needs, if you're just raising children, you're doing a service for humanity. So thank you for that. But if you're raising a special needs child and you're alone, I would definitely try to get some sort of support group or outreach program in your area, because there is support out for everyone. Everyone needs it, and it's there for everyone. Just got to
Yes.
find it. But fortunately, we got each other, and that's how
That's
we get through
awesome.
our day to day struggle.
Oh, that's awesome. We have I homeschool, and so
School.
it was kind of easy. I say easier for me to because Elizabeth was here all the time, and it just was a way of life. We did school at home. We do everything here, and then we had support from the Homeschool Legal Defense Association. We're members of that, so we get
Nice.
free counseling for struggling learners. So you can, so I was able to work with them and get advice and on
Nice.
how to teach her, how to homeschool her, because I'm very much a very factual person. Just give me the facts, boom, boom, boom. But she didn't learn that way. She's very creative. So we would, do school outside on the trampoline. So we would try to, you know, do memorization that way, or we would play lots of games, and people would, tell me, you're not homeschooling, or there's nothing wrong with her. And I'm like, you don't know what goes on in our house.
Hmm.
So,
Yep.
but yeah, finding, balancing that time, like, she did take a lot of time for at least a year or two trying to figure out what do you do, how do I deal with SPD, and how do you, I don't know anything about it. I didn't know anything about learning disabilities or behavioral issues. Autism wasn't even really on my vocabulary, I guess. And even though she doesn't have autism, it was just,
Yeah.
I have a child that has a learning issue, and what do I do, right?
Yeah.
Like how do you talk to them, or how do you be able to communicate with them in a way that they'll understand? Travis and Michelle, you've got, obviously yours is nonverbal, but trying to find a way to be able to get them to talk to you and to communicate. I love that you guys have hand signals. I've seen
Yeah.
some of your videos and the tablet that he can use to talk, and
The
that's
tablet is cool.
Yeah, that's awesome to be able to, but you want to be able to speak their language, and it's going to be so important in times that we're going to be, if you have an emergency situation. I think about the flooding that's going on right now in certain parts of the country, and like someone said the other day, what are you going to do? Like if someone comes around, they're like, there's this gas leak in your neighborhood and you have to leave right now. I'm like, oh crap, I don't have. I didn't think about a gas leak. I'm prepared for the big things. But anyway, it gets you thinking. Um, and I'm going to go backwards. I'm going to go back to Travis and Michelle. I did have a question for both you and Apartment Prepper, and you guys kind of touched on it already. What are you two doing to encourage and support each other while mentally, spiritually, all of that, while you are, you know, doing life and raising your son? How are you supporting each other?
Well, we do keep God at the center of our marriage.
Mm,
Amen.
amen.
That's where we start. Is we keep God at the center of our marriage, and I don't know. We kind of vent to each other, and
Yeah.
we have our moments, and we grumble to each other, and then we both get over it, and we move forward. Michelle likes to do dishes.
I do.
Bonus.
Uh, yeah, when she gets really stressed out, when Alex has pushed her buttons to the limit, you'll find her in the kitchen scrubbing pans.
Mm,
Um, you just have to retreat. You do. You have to take a step back. You have to remember that parenting is hard for every parent.
right.
It's not just you. We all get our trials and tribulations, and Alex is a special guy, and God gave him to us. So you just take a step back, take a breath, and we encourage each other a lot. I got to be honest, we've had real moments of weakness.
That's
It's really
normal.
hard when you
Yeah.
spend so much of your time with someone that has special needs. You can start mirroring some of those special needs yourself.
Yes.
Good point. Yes.
And so it's been very fortunate for Michelle and I to have each other to conversate with, and to help raise our vibration and our frequency back up to a healthy level after having a meltdown or a temper tantrum that Alex is going through.
So what do you guys still this kind of the same question? How do you help yourself like individually? So you guys have each other. So but what do you do for yourself to kind of help support yourself? Do you have hobbies you like to do? Do you need to when you need to take a break?
We do a new show on the YouTube channel. The family member. It's called Open
Open
That
that
Box.
box.
And it's a real great way that we can blow off steam, and we do something together that has nothing to do with Alex. And sometimes we get a comment on the show because they'll say something like, "Oh, where's Alex? Alex isn't with you guys." And it's all that, guys. It's not. Alex is seldom not with us. That's the one time that Alex is not with us, is we're in our bedroom opening boxes. And that is one of the ways that we blow off steam and regroup. I mean, it's
I
been
love
great
it.
for us. It doesn't, I hope you guys have been enjoying the show too.
I love it.
It's a bunch of stuff.
Open that box.
Yeah, right. We tried to
I'm
make it
cheering
fun.
with
It was
you
a way that
guys.
we could come in here and be loud and be silly, and not to use the word, but kind of to be normal, be human again.
No, that's
Because we
we
do
get
find
you.
ourselves kind of in the day to day life being more a medical provider than even a parent.
Amen. Apartment prepper, what are you doing to take care of yourself and support yourself? Do you have
I
people in your corner that help you, or you?
mm, the only people I have in my life besides my brother are my friends that I have made on YouTube.
Yeah.
So
Hi,
such as
friend.
you and Prepping by Faith and some others. Um, y'all have been there for me recently, and that's a new experience. So that's nice. I do have a friend in Texas, but it's hard to get in touch with her all the time. Um, but I was thinking about this question, and it reminded me of when I was homeless, and I know I bring this up a lot, but I want you to know I'm not embarrassed by it, and it is a part of my life that happened, and it's a big part.
Absolutely.
That's why I mention it. Okay, I had someone say something to me about you always mention you were homeless. It's a big part of my life.
That's a
So
big deal in your life.
you don't
Yeah.
like that? Go away. Anyway, what I was saying is, during that, I really got to like the lowest. I got to one of the lowest moments because I felt like, okay, see, here I go. I felt like I had let my brother down.
Mm-mm.
Sorry, y'all. I
You're
felt like
good.
I had let him down
You're good.
because I allowed it to happen. I allowed us to get to the situation where we ended up homeless, and yeah, I was quite broken myself. Sorry, y'all,
You're
but
good. You're good.
I had to number one not show him, and so he was working as a dishwasher at the time, part time, because he can do that. And so when he was gone, the one thing that kept me going was number one, I would watch church services.
Hmm.
I would listen to praise and worship music, or I would watch something. It sounds silly, watch something on Hulu because I had Hulu for $1 a month. I got a discount deal. So um, those type of things would help me um, get through. And even now, it's those type of things that still help me. Um, I haven't been on YouTube a lot the last couple of weeks. I've had just kind of try to get my brain back into a good place, and I have been watching more church services and just kind of getting into a positive area for me, something that helps ground me. So that's something I do. Sorry, I
That's
didn't mean to
awesome.
cry, y'all. It just
Oh, you're good.
early tonight. I did not know I was going to cry, and I apologize for shedding all these tears, but
No, it's
it is
Well,
fine.
what it
you've
is.
done a
This is
fantastic
real.
job taking care of your brother. I
Yes.
mean, you've done a fantastic job. And it's not my place to say anything to you, but I think you're amazing. And
Well,
you
thank you.
stepped up. You can't feel like you have failed him ever.
No.
Thank you.
Because as far as siblings are concerned, you're in the 1% category.
Yes.
There are so many people that turn their
Yeah,
back. And that's why Michelle and I have had such sleepless nights ourselves, because we realize that we love him and we will be there for him, but the rest of the world could care less.
yeah,
Yeah.
And you stepped
Yep.
up, and you know what? You had some hard times, and you didn't fail him, you just had some bumps. Failing him would have been giving up, and you did
Yes.
not give up, because look at
no,
you here today.
thank
And
you.
God bless you, and God love you, and we love you too. You're
We
doing
Thank
the
love
good
you.
you.
thing and the right thing.
Group hug. Okay. All the ones in the chat
Everybody,
Okay. We
hi.
love all of you.
too.
And yeah, to everyone out there, I think you can feel real isolated, and it's
Yep.
easy to feel like giving up,
Hmm.
but you have to remember that God gives special people to special people.
Yep.
And if you're taking care of someone that needs a little extra, God's going to give you the little extra that you need to.
Yeah.
And grab that and believe in that, and God will provide for you.
That was hard for me when Elizabeth was in that age where I didn't know what was going on. And, when I homeschooled, so a lot of her care and obviously her teaching and things fell on my shoulders because I was home for 14 hours a day when my husband, he left when it was dark and he came home when it was dark. It's just how it was. And so you mentioned isolated. I felt like a married single mother at times. And that's not to bash anything or whatever. It's just how it was, It's just, the time that I was here, you do feel alone, and I don't have any family here either, like you guys, Travis and Michelle, or well, actually, apartment prepper, you don't have family near you either, do you? So yeah, I don't have any family close by, and what I thought was family, it was supposed to be my church family. They didn't know what to do with us, and so they just kind of like, yeah, that's nice, good for you, and
Some
you
people
know,
don't know how to handle your situation
they,
or how to
mm-mm.
how to handle you and try to be a comfort to you. They just have no clue, and it can be awkward for them, which makes it
Yes.
awkward for you in return.
Yeah.
And,
Yep.
it's just how it is, I guess.
There's a question from LG that I have up on the screen. It says, do you guys have any recommended resources to find out more to help with special needs, disabilities?
Well, I think that really depends on where you live.
Yes.
and
But
what your
Michelle
special
knows a
need is.
bunch of resources if you're in Colorado. You want to tell them some resources?
Well, there's a few groups like the Resource Exchange Group in the Springs. There's a few places here, Blue Skies. There's the DD waiver. There's different resources.
If you jump on Google and look for local resources, you should find something
Yes.
in your area pretty quick and easy. It might even surprise you how many groups and services are right there in your area.
Yeah, and even typing in your, if it's whatever need you have, whatever the special need is that you're dealing with, type in that in your town or your state or your county, whatever, and see what comes up.
Yeah, that's a good one. I know Michelle Mitten Prepper, she had something here. Right here it is. Resources are available in almost all school districts now. Not as many decades ago. We started receiving services when she was 18 months old, and she's 18 now.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I guess Google's our best friend for this.
Now.
Are there? Let's see. Are there? This LG says, I feel like the school systems were not helpful and had to fight for their rights.
Some
Now,
places were better equipped than others.
yes. Again,
We
I
didn't have very
homeschool.
much success with school.
No. And of course, I'm a veteran homeschool mom, and I would say that you could homeschool your special needs child. There are support services, and there's help from homeschool resources, both nationwide and in your state. And you can give them a better tailored education than the government school can. That's just my opinion, but
Well, we
I
came to the
agree.
conclusion that Alex doesn't need a traditional education.
yes,
Alex doesn't really need ABCs and one, two, threes. He's working on more one and two step directions.
he needs
Like
what he needs.
right.
Right.
I mean, I think he's 13, but psychologically he's right around 6.
Gotcha.
So
Yes. Yeah. That.
yeah.
Anything else about school? What was school like for Kevin?
He
Do you know?
he was in a special ed classroom. Um, he made it through school. He probably has like a sixth grade education, but he did graduate. But it was just a normal special ed class back in the 80s.
Okay.
So and he started school later. Um, Again, he couldn't talk till he was 5. He spent years in speech therapy. Just I remember when he was 5, he came home and ran in and just said apple, and my mother and I burst into tears. And some days his speech isn't much better than that today. But it's he just, yeah, the normal special ed. He did okay. He likes to read, so that's a plus. He does read a lot.
Go ahead.
That's good.
Yeah, he does like to read.
That's good. Are there any? I want to open the floor for questions, so that you guys can start typing in some questions. I'm not sure if there was one that came by and I missed it. I think. I was trying to grab them as I saw them.
Well, it looks like
Oh,
Michelle
here,
here
apartment
has talked
prepper. This
about
comment came in.
homeschooling.
Oh, where'd it go?
Okay.
Oh well, I'll grab it here in a second. So you guys type your questions in, put them all in caps, and then I did want to ask you guys, what advice do you have for people who have special needs family members, but they're just getting started in prepping? Is there a special focus that they should start with, or maybe we can encourage them and let them know they can do this even though they have a special needs person at home?
You may need more stuff when it comes to prepping when you have a special needs loved one. But I said it earlier, one day at a time. That's how I approach it. It's just one day at a time. Try to do what I can. What I can't do, I can't do. I have the lists, I have the goals, I have the plans, but I can only do so much. So just do what you can. I'm always saying, do what you can, where you can, with what you can. It applies for
Right.
special needs as well, at least
Right.
for my situation.
Anybody else want to add? Do you guys, can you still hear me? You look like you're getting chunky.
There we go. We
Oh,
got
there
you
you go.
back.
Good.
We got you back.
Good.
So I don't know if you're new to prepping in general. I don't think prepping for someone's special needs is that much different than prepping in general. You cover your basics, make sure that you have backup clothes, food, water,
Yep.
medical equipment, first aid stuff. Medications are a little bit different if you have someone with special needs because Alex does have, specific medications that we need to prep up on. But if you're new to the game in general, then I would just say nothing can really prepare you for it. You gotta learn it by doing it. Spend some time focusing on it. A lot of times we're only going to be good at what we're looking at. So if you have this prepping desire, I'd say spend some time, write some stuff down. What is it that's important to you? And start doubling up on it.
Yes.
Everybody's situation is so unique. That's such a hard question because for us it was like diapers. But if they don't need diapers, then that would be silly.
Not necessarily.
Well, but you're right. I mean, focus
Well, I
on
guess,
their
because if
needs.
you had diapers, I'd trade you for them.
Exactly. You never know.
Bet I would.
There's a resource for emergency preparedness for individuals with special needs. It's on the ticker down there. You can do ready.gov/disability is
Nice.
one. They have an awesome checklist there. And then, because that one's specific for disabilities. And then this one, ready.gov/plan is what help you make a plan and how to, so it gets you thinking about maybe just things you're just not thinking about. Okay, that sounded stupid. But looking for that's a good place to start. I went through there and saw that list and I thought, wow, that's really good, because that would get you thinking about all. It's not just for autism, but it's like we were talking earlier. It had emotional needs, it had physical needs, communication needs. One thing was like I think you mentioned it, apartment prepper, like the cards or that had like little instructions on them. Like having or even safety things like a tracker, like some kind of a GPS tracker, or those one of those things that Apple makes them, the little tags.
Apple
Yeah.
tags.
AirTag.
Yeah.
And
Stuff like that.
And
that
GeoBit.
What's that?
GeoBit.
with a J.
Oh, yes. Yeah, GeoBit.
Those are good brands,
It
yeah.
goes on your clothes.
Yeah.
Oh,
Good tracking devices for children that might be flight risk.
Yeah, exactly. Wandering, that would go for
It's
someone
not just
that might.
children that are flight risk.
Exactly.
Well, we train our dogs to find Alex. We
That's
have
cool.
two German
Awesome.
Shepherds, and they're excellent. We have one that's named Hunter. He's
Aw.
specifically designed to find Alex now, later, whenever. He's got a good nose, and he's been trained on his scent. So service dogs are an excellent answer to some people's situation, I guess.
Right.
It worked well for us. He didn't like dogs up until he was about 11 years old. Every dog that he had contact with, he was actually really abusive to, and we had to pull him back in fear that he was going to hurt the animal.
Okay.
But something happened at 12, and he started cuddling up with them, so we're giving the whole service dog a chance, and it's kind of strange. Alex doesn't want to make eye contact with me or Michelle, but he'll make eye contact with the dog.
That's awesome.
Gosh.
And so it's all,
That's
however,
awesome.
just now you have a friend, that's wonderful. Any kind of connection that he can get, we kind of try to fan that flame. So I don't know.
awesome.
Protection animals, service dogs are important.
Yes. I want to say just a quick shout out to Van City Prepper. Thank you for the super chat. Thank you so much. And it says, thank you to the panel for good information. So we appreciate you for doing that. Nene
Woo, Van
says,
City.
not,
Yeah.
is it, I don't know if it's Nene or Nene Bops, said you can get seatbelt covers that list your needs in case of an accident. That's interesting. That would be something good.
Okay.
And I was just thinking,
tip.
we have a window cling in our front window that tells how many pets are in the house and what size. Is there anything like that for special needs?
You can register your special needs for us, our child, with the local fire department.
Awesome.
Just call your local fire department, and if you don't know who that is, call your city, and they'll tell you which branch to call directly. And yeah, you just give them the register, the address, the name, the special need that needs to be met, and they'll actually pass that on through the paramedics and the law enforcement as well. So, yep.
Awesome. Is it for anybody, or is it just for kids, or is it?
You can do it for. I think they'll do it for about anybody if you care to do it, but they kind of reserve it for special needs and elderly people.
Okay, gotcha.
I mean, I don't think they just want you to call for
oh no,
everybody. I think it is focused more for that need, right?
Yeah, that's
which is my entire apartment complex.
no.
But how many of them have called the fire department to let them know? See, that way they're gonna. If you call for Kevin, guess who the first one to get saved is? Kevin.
Kevin.
Yeah.
Because that's the one they know is there, and they know where he is and what he needs. So it is important to call your fire department if you're in that situation.
No, that's awesome.
That's an excellent tip.
Excellent idea. I wonder if there was something else I was thinking about along that lines. Oh, I know. I wanted to ask earlier. Does Kevin kind of know or sense anything that's going on with all this hoo-ha in the world or in the community? Does he understand or sense anything?
He does. Again, with him, it's some days more than others. His it's really hard to explain what happens with him. Some days it's like he's 5. Some days it's like he's 12. Some days it's like he's 18. It just varies with him. And I think it was the other day. I don't remember if it was you that I said he had. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. He had seen something on YouTube about some news story that I didn't even know about, and he came and asked me about it because he was concerned about it. And he doesn't usually get into that kind of stuff. And then I think I texted you and Prepping by Faith. I was like, have y'all heard about this? But so he does see stuff, and he does get questions. But he doesn't always. Does that make sense? I feel like I'm not
making sense.
Because his
every day is different, right?
It is. Every day is completely different. So, but yeah, he does have days when he does see what's going on, and then he'll parrot what he hears.
Oh, okay.
So if someone says something about Biden for the next 3-4 days, that's all that's coming out of his mouth. Or if someone says something about another issue that he hears, it'll stick. And for days he'll say it, and I'll be like, now don't be saying this outside the apartment, or because he'll just parrot it. So that's one thing I have to be careful with him when he, some things.
You've had to teach Elizabeth
and he may not realize what he's saying.
Right. I've had to teach Elizabeth to have a filter.
Yeah, my brother does not have one.
Elizabeth doesn't necessarily. She doesn't really just blurt things out like that, but there was a volume level. I had to teach her how to kind of actually listen to herself, because she was just like way out here all the time.
He has one of those too, so do I.
Yeah, she comes by, and honestly, I'm like loud all the time anyway. But yeah, of course, my daughter, though, she's up on all the politics, and she's up on all the stuff that's happening and everything, and so we have lots of conversations about how to prepare for those things that we're all looking at the news every day.
My brother does know where his go bag is in case for some reason I'm not here, and he does know how to get the dog in the harness and get out with the go bag if there's a necessity. We
Wow,
have
that's
we have
great.
worked on that. Um, whether or not in an actual situation it would happen, I know he would get the dog because he's really good at that now. But I don't know if he'd actually think to remember to grab his go bag. And if he didn't, it's it's not the end of the world. I have stuff off site in a storage unit in case of a situation like that. So
That's kind of one of my fears is that something's going to happen and we're not all going to be together and I won't be able to get to her or, to be able to or get
one of the first
her on the
videos I
phone
did,
or something.
yeah, one of the first videos I did, I think it was called "Is Your Family Prepared" or something like that, and it was
Yeah.
discussing not being home and something happening, and is your family prepared for that? Does your family, do they know what to do if there's a disaster or some situation and you're separated and you are not yourself at home? And yeah, I had a discussion about that because I was thinking about it because I wasn't at home at the time. I was on the bus coming back from
Oh
somewhere,
gosh.
and yeah, I think I'd gone to the grocery store or something, but the bus got stalled and was like 15, 20 minutes later than normal. And so my head started turning and I started thinking about that. And I was like,
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
yeah.
Travis and Michelle, are you guys ever really separated from Alex at all? There's always I'm gonna say there's always one. I'm gonna say there's always one of you with
We
him.
tried it. We tried it when he was younger before we understood. And the thing is, dealing with Alex, the doctors just told us Alex has autism. So we went forward thinking every child that has autism is behaving like Alex. We didn't
Mm.
understand that he was actually on the very, very severe side of the spectrum.
Yeah.
So we just thought it was just normal. Hey, everybody's going through this. But no, Alex is incoherent to things that are going on around him as far as what's going on in the world today. He's 13, so most 13-year-olds in general don't
Yeah.
care about world politics, but him even less so. He has no idea what's going on. When the whole thing was going down, he loved the face mask. I like I had never seen him so excited. He loved the fact that he had to wear one, probably because of the compression. And he loved the fact that everyone else in the world had to wear one too, because he hates looking at your face anyway. There's something about
Oh.
the doctors were explaining. He has a like a eidetic memory where it's like a photographic memory where if he sees your face one time, it flashes over 1,000 times in his memory. So it's
Wow.
almost painful for him to make eye contact
Oh
with
my
us.
goodness.
And that's why he tries his best to refrain from it. So when the face mask were on, the
Oh,
bigger the face mask you were wearing, the more he loved you. So
Wow.
that came out of that. We were like, that's we learned that if he's having a bad time, or sometimes I can put on a face mask and communicate with him better than
wow.
without one, because
Wow.
it's easier for him to look at me.
That is
But
interesting.
as far as does he know, I don't. If the house was on fire, unfortunately, he would sit down on the couch watching Netflix until it was too late. He would
Yeah, he
have
wasn't.
no understanding
concept.
at all of the repercussions of his
Mhm.
decisions.
He'd play with the ashes.
Yeah, he would probably play with the ashes as the house burned down.
Oh. Yeah, that's
true.
that's the hard part.
But we made the plan with Belle.
That's why God gave him to us. We're
Yeah.
very real about it, and we understand the threat. And
Yeah.
he doesn't. He's got both of us, so between the two of us, we try to keep him out of danger as best as we can. And thank God we've done it so far. But it's like you said with Kevin. The doctors have told us that he might not have as long of a lifespan as other children. Whatever that means. And I even asked that, well, what does that mean? And that's all that was really said. So,
Well, hopefully it won't ever come to the point of seizures. We were watching that for a long time.
oh yeah, what was that young man's name?
There was a possibility. Oh, there's a child named Creed.
Creed. If you look
Okay,
at YouTube,
passed
he
away.
passed away. But his videos are still up, and it shows the mother's a single mother, and it shows her journey with Creed up
Wow.
until he died
okay.
at 18, I think.
Yeah.
He had severe seizures, and but we relate heavily to that situation. So if you want to, that's more like what our data. So we're anxious. We're praying to God Alex gets past 18.
Well, heck,
Wow.
Kevin is 52, so he's lived
Praise God.
way longer than they said he
Yes.
would. So it's a miracle, and I'm thankful for it.
This came in from Nini. I don't know if I'm saying your name right, so please forgive me. She says, my nephew has autism. My brother went to all his immediate neighbors and explained his condition. They all agreed to keep an eye out for him in case he runs off or if there's an emergency. Have you guys, Travis and Michelle, said anything to your neighbors about
Oh
Alex?
yeah,
Okay.
we know every neighbor in a 10-mile
Oh,
house
that's
by first name.
That's
awesome.
awesome.
I make it a point. I bake bread for them. I go over there. No, nobody's news moved in for about 6 months, but the second you do move in, you're getting some bread from me. You're getting a knock and a hello. And yeah,
I'm
if you
Travis, the
watch our
cameraman
show,
brother.
if you watch our YouTube channel, I'm very friendly. And yeah, everyone around our neighborhood is very aware of Alex's circumstances,
Oh,
and they actually know his boundaries that we've set. So if they see him outside of our gate, if he's doing anything they already know the situation. We have had neighbors not be so understanding at first. Alex
Okay.
had a tendency of taking very large sticks and just throwing them over the fence.
Oh,
And one day he did that, and it hit the neighbor's car.
oops.
no.
The neighbor came over, and we had just moved in. The neighbor didn't know what was going on. He just came over. He was screaming and he was yelling. I mean, he was ready to knock me out. And I had to explain to him that
He's
Alex had no idea what he was doing. I'm sorry, and we had to de-escalate that situation. So we do find ourselves de-escalating
Yeah.
situations quite a bit.
How about you, apartment prepper? Do your neighbors know about Kevin?
Yeah, the ones right around
Yeah.
me do.
Okay,
And the
that's good.
apartment manager, the complex manager does, the maintenance men do, and they're wonderful. They're always keeping an eye out for them. So, so that's good.
That's good.
It takes a
We
village.
well, yes, and that's I think one of the hard things that I had about going to the church that we used to go to, and I said used to, um, because when issues started to come up with Elizabeth's sensory processing, it was usually during teen youth group activities because they would do some of the extreme stuff where they would have
Yeah.
loud noises and strobe lights and things, and she was just having meltdowns and nobody understood because on the outside she looks normal. And basically, I mean, she can have conversations with people and she's very friendly and stuff, but all of a sudden something would happen and she would literally like be in the corner, doing
Mm.
this and nobody was helping her. And so this is where I was like, earlier we were talking about having to educate people, especially people that are like maybe at a school or at our church, trying to educate them on what's going on and what she needs, and it just wasn't working.
There's the
There's
man.
Alex. Hi,
Alex
Alex.
wanted to
Hi,
come say
Alex.
hi to everybody. Hi.
Hey.
So this is Alex, and he's looking, guys, because we have it on a big projector. It's a big
That's
screen,
good.
so he's kind of fascinated. Like we said, this is normally the bedroom is normally off limits to Alex. It is the area that we keep for Michelle and I to retreat. So he's
Yes.
pretty wild to be in here. But
I
we
say,
thought we
look
would
at it.
bring him
He's
in
looking.
here
He's
and
like,
show you guys.
wow.
This is Alex.
Hey, Alex.
And of course,
Everybody is
now
saying
that
hi to you on YouTube. There's a lot of people.
Oh,
Uh-oh.
mom and dad are gone.
Bye, Alex.
Well,
We'll see when Michelle gets back up there. So, is there any other questions from
We're back.
anybody in the chat? I know we were over by about 15 minutes. I know some people had to leave, but
well,
if
that
there's
was the expected plan, I guess. That's exactly how I planned for that to go.
Um,
yeah, that's
I don't know if anyone has a question, but I was going to tell you, you were talking about your church and how the people didn't know how to react to your daughter. I was
no, it
watching a
was very
church
hard.
service this morning, and they actually announced that this fall they have what they call life classes a couple times a year, and one of the ones they announced was parenting for someone with a special needs child. So I
Oh,
thought
that's
that was
awesome.
awesome. And I just, yeah, they said that. Of course, I took note of it, even though I'm not in Texas where the church service was, and I don't have a child. But still, it's nice to see churches and places
Yes.
like that
Yeah.
being more receptive, because
Hmm.
that's always been something the church has kind of stigmatized that kind of
Yep.
stuff a lot.
They didn't know
And
how to deal
I'm a
with it, so
Christian
they'll
and
just.
I believe in church, but
Mhm.
that's been something that has been a little bit more, I don't know, not as accepted in a lot of
Mhm.
churches. So that was neat to see.
The church that we are starting to go to now has an actual special needs ministry,
Awesome.
and it's huge. And she was looking at that, and all we've seen so far is just, like online stuff. And she's like, Mom, I think I want to go to that.
That's
And
cool.
I'm like, let's try it. And she has to wear her soundproof headphones when we go in the church because they have the live music, and then the drums are kind of loud and stuff. But she wants to be a part, but she has to wear her headphones. And when we went to Disney, she wore ones that went in her ears, so like the ones that like you would wear at a shooting range or something. You could put those in your ears, and that was easier because it wasn't so bulky.
Yeah.
Yeah, but she was a little self-conscious about walking around with the big headphones and stuff. But she really likes to do skeet shooting. That's like a sensory thing for her, and she's really good at it. I was like, uh-oh, I have to buy her a gun. But no, she loves it. She really likes that what's the word I'm looking for? The tactile part of it. She really loves to shoot. So can I say that on YouTube?
You just
Oh
did.
well, I did. Too late. So,
So many rules.
well, I'm not. Excuse me. I'm not seeing any more questions coming in. But is there anything else you guys want to add before we say goodnight to everybody?
I just want to say thank you for having us on to talk about this. I'm sorry if I talk too much or if I cried too much.
No,
Y'all, those
my
who know me know
gosh,
that's
no.
just me.
Everybody in the comments has been saying it's been an inspiration, and that it's been a wonderful conversation, that we need to talk about things like this. So anyway,
Diane, you're an inspiration to us as well.
Aw,
We
yeah.
don't make me
really
cry again.
appreciate we really appreciate everything you're doing. Um,
Well, thank you.
we're going to be doing the Open the Box series that we're doing, and we were talking about one of the things that we're still not showing is the autism specific preps that we get for Alex. We've
Oh,
opened up to YouTube. We've shown you guys our groceries and our pantry and even our laundry soap. And now we're showing you like our kitchen appliances. And we were saying, well, why don't we show the things that we get, because Alex needs certain things like compression helmets. There's
yep.
weighted blankets. There's just so many different things that and some of them are hits and misses, but we're gonna start sharing that on the
Awesome.
YouTube channel. So that might be helpful to give you some ideas of some of the equipment, even if it's Christmas presents. You got to get it age appropriate for the
Oh, yeah.
child.
Yeah, I think that's
Um,
going to be good for all of us or anybody else, so we can inspire some
Oh,
other people
yeah.
to do that. Just what are some things, like what are some things that you're just going to need to pack or just make sure that you have? Because when we just go to visit grandma and she's just a few hours away for a weekend, I have to pack half the car for my daughter because she has, weighted blanket. And you mentioned something about compression. She has compression around the middle. You just mentioned
Mhm.
Alex has a helmet, but she has compression stuff around the middle, the weighted blankets, all of the special things that she has to be able to wind down, her headphones, her soundproof, everything. It's just, there's paraphernalia that goes with our people, and yeah. So that, I think that's going to
you
be
think
good to
you
be
had
able
a
to
big
show some of
diaper
the stuff.
bag?
What's that?
One of the things, we can give Alex a shoelace and he can have a lot of fun with it. So I
Oh
think
yeah.
it's important to find what it is that's going to be the stimming device. For some individuals, it might be a plastic spoon, um, something like that they can wiggle is the idea. What
Mm-hmm.
you'll find is a lot of people that have autism, they'll look at things that wiggle, and they're not looking at what's wiggling. They're looking at the empty space in between the wiggle. And they will spend
Okay.
hours looking into the empty space between my finger. So anything that's going to wiggle in that manner, we use those for transitional times when Alex is having meltdowns or things like that.
Nice.
So yeah, we're gonna try to be more open. Thank you, Sassy Gal, for having us because, like I said, we've never been open enough to talk about this. We've been kind of scared, you know. We've been living in our own world until we really started watching Apartment Prepper. We didn't think
Who
anybody in
just
the world was
does
going through
anything?
anything but us, you know. So
Yep.
again, thanks, and we wish the best for everyone out there.
Yes.
And if you're in the situation
Yep.
where you're taking care of someone that has special needs, keep your chin up. You're gonna get through it. Don't forget to meditate and then mitigate. Okay?
Oh, I love it.
Take a deep breath and then just get through the situation. That's
And
what
if
we do.
anyone's
That's
if
all we
anyone's
can do is
watching,
just do our best.
if anyone's
Yes.
watching who just needs to vent, you can always email me. If you just need someone to listen, you can email me. I'm there.
Yep. You can email me too. It's down in the description box somewhere.
So if you're watching and you're telling everybody you don't have anybody to support you, you're wrong. There's two wonderful ladies right there that
Plus
are
you
more than
guys.
happy to support you.
Well,
Okay,
yeah.
and
Well,
yeah,
support
of
from a
course,
distance. They
you
got
guys
their
can
own thing.
email or chat with Michelle and I too. Project Dojo Project Dojo at Gmail is my Project Dojo. It's right there at Gmail.
There you go.
This is a children's charity that Michelle and I founded about 25 years ago.
Nice.
It's based in
Oh,
Albuquerque,
I wondered
New
what
Mexico.
that was.
Yeah, so it's an old charity that we did a long time ago in another life.
That's awesome, though. And you guys
Way
are
before
fantastic.
the big.
You guys are fantastic. What you do with Alex, you're an inspiration to me. So and many others. So thank you for sharing everything you do. I'm always telling people to check out your channel if I find out they have a special
Yes.
needs kid.
Yep. Yep. Y'all are very
Well, I hope not to
inspiring and
disappoint
encouraging.
because we try not to focus our channel on that.
No, but you
I mean,
have
and
more
I don't know
information
because
than
we
some.
don't want to. I don't want to feel like I'm exploiting Alex, and
You're
I don't know
not.
if that's something
No,
I
I
can even
got
talk
you.
about. But like,
Yeah.
I'm always cautious about any time I put him in front of the camera,
Yep.
because some people. I don't
There's
want to
always
exploit what's going on. Is
Yeah.
kind of.
But there's
But
a lot
I
of
do want to be
people out
open at
there.
the same time in case we can help people. So I think we are going to address more videos. So if you have topics that you would like for Michelle and I to address in an autistic video, please let us know. We'd be happy to service that need for you. We want to bring awareness to the situation in any way that we can.
Amen
And I think
to
there's
that.
people that come to YouTube looking for someone else who understands them and what they're going through.
Mhm.
So
Yep. And on that note, thank you for that. And I think we'll say good night to everyone. I want to thank everyone for being here, the moderators and my special guests, Apartment Prepper and Family Man Prepper. Please go subscribe to their channels and give them lots of love. And I guess until next time, next Sunday we'll have Subscriber Sunday. Catch Open That Box. Wait, where are you? This way? I can't do it.
Open that box.
Yeah, to open that box and catch Apartment Prepper. And all right, so we'll sign off, and we want to thank everyone for being here and have a great week.
Thank you,
Love
everybody.
You all.
Bye, y'all.
Bye, everybody.
Thank you.